Hey guys, welcome back to Creator Get. I'm Brandon, and this is the second installment of our Mario Maker 2 level design showcase. Our first week showed a handful of submissions, but you guys really showed up in force this week. Almost 400 stages were submitted, and that's a lot. So that's really a lot for one guy. The theme for this week was the original Mario Brothers, so all the upcoming courses utilized only that theme. I probably should have been a bit more clear on that, considering all the unrelated submissions from the last week. Regardless, let's get right into it. For 2-1, we have Snow Mountain by TommyXe. This fun little platformer has you tunnel into the depths of a mountain infested with dry bones, spike traps, and falling icicles, and then forces you to follow the path of destruction back up once you reach the key at the bottom. The reason I liked this course so much was because it was tough, but fair. At no point did I feel like getting hit was a consequence of poor design. More so, it was my own impatience that caused me to get hit. I also like that Tommy included several tempting rewards that can really come back to haunt you if you choose to pursue them, as they make traversing back up the cave that much more dangerous with newly revealed spike traps. I've seen this idea used quite a few times, but I think Tommy had the best implementation, primarily since most of the levels just involve a mad dash back to the start, whereas this one took a more careful and methodical approach. And I'm a pretty impatient person, so when I think a course like this is good, just know that it's coming from a very short attention span. Coming in at 2-2, we have Hacksaw Havoc by Anti-Gravity123. This is again a general idea I saw quite a bit throughout the submissions. Spinning saw blades are approaching Mario from below, and he must ascend the junglescape in order to evade them, or start going by Super Maria. This eventually culminates into a bouncy ride atop the blades using a Goom Shoe, which is a great twist on her initial formula and feels like a logical step forward from the start of the level. It also isn't just thrown at you out of nowhere. She offers you the chance to play with the new mechanic before she implements it. This is actually a design philosophy used by the creators of the 2D Mario games, known as 4-step level design, in which course elements are gradually introduced in a safe environment before ramping up the difficulty. But I'll have more to say on that in a little bit. This course was beautifully done, and it took full advantage of the jungle backdrop to complement it and make it feel like a lot was happening, when in reality, very few things actually were. World 3-3 takes us into the desert with Bowser's Desert Trials by the Pain. Weirdly enough, this was the only desert level submitted. No one else submitted a pyramid or ancient ruin. Okay, kidding aside, this does sort of highlight the fact that many people had very similar ideas. Out of the almost 400 submissions, I think I maybe played 50 that had Mario delving into a pharaoh's tomb or into a pyramid or taking a page out of Indiana Jones's book. None of those things are bad, but don't go accusing someone of plagiarism simply because they used a similar concept. Anyway, for players who want a more difficult experience, this is definitely the level for you. It tasks you with a gauntlet of tough rooms where you must survive in order to reach the flag. They start out simple enough, but really dial up the difficulty as you progress. The challenges, however, were tough in a rewarding way. Dying over and over again didn't make me curse the level. I could see the solution in front of me, and it was just a case of being better in order to complete it, which is something I think more designers should take into consideration when making Kaizo levels. And before we hit the final world, here are a couple honorable mentions. And for the best course this week, we have Searchlight Shenanigans by Reus. And yes, he did get his very own shout out last week, but this is purely coincidence since I actually don't pay that much attention to the names of the creators until I write my script. Which, now that I think about it, I probably should pay more attention to that, shouldn't I? Regardless, this course follows the 4-step level design concept to a T. I don't know if that was his intention, but this is how that level turned out. In this course, you'll get the Super Ball Flower power-up in order to traverse the Dark Ghost House, with elements being steadily introduced as you progress. The reason this works so well is because it showcases pretty much all of the best uses for the power-up. It's a light source, a weapon, a boomerang to grab distant items. It's just plain awesome. And like I said last week, more than anything else, this level is just plain fun. It's the kind of course I'd show my friends as an example of what awesome stuff can be done with this game. And for that reason, Reus takes the #1 spot. And that's it for World 2. Thanks so much for all of you who submitted this week. There were a lot of courses and it was really hard to pick the top 4, but I appreciate all of the submissions nonetheless. And remember, please stick to the level theme, as I will only be accepting submissions that follow it. And speaking of which, the theme for next week is actually going to be Super Mario 3D World. I was going to go in order and do Mario 3 next, but I'm way more interested in seeing what you guys can do with a completely different set of rules. And one last note, I mentioned 4-step level design quite a few times in this video, and that's because it's a fantastic design philosophy that really does work. For anyone who wants to up their game, I have a video linked in the description below from Game Maker's Toolkit that talks all about the idea in a way more user-friendly way than I ever could. It's a great resource that I could not endorse any more than I already am, so please check that out. And with that, I'll see you all in World 3. Catch you later.